Greetings and welcome to Commonwealth Shakespeare Company's online script-in-hand reading of The Tempest by William Shakespeare. This performance was recorded on Thursday, August 6th, 2020, and will remain available through 7 p.m. on Monday, August 10th, 2020. I am your audio describer, Cori Couture. If you haven't had a chance to listen to the pre-show audio recordings on the ComShakes website, you might want to take 15 minutes to do that now. The pre-show covers locations, backgrounds, and conventions for the online reading, as well as what the actors look like and their characters. Go to comshakes.org/production/the-tempest. That's COMMSHAKES.org/production/the-tempest. This recorded presentation runs just about 2 hours and 16 minutes. In a moment, 2 videos will play. First is a promo for ComShakes, narrated by founding artistic director Stephen Mailer. Second is a presentation by the set and costume designers, showing their work so far for next summer's live production.
Bear my good night to him, and give him from me this most needful note.
The Commonwealth Shakespeare Company was founded with this fundamental tenet that Shakespeare and theater and art should be accessible to everyone. In Shakespeare's day,
Co-founder
everyone
Joan
went to
Moyna.
the theater.
We see people year after year telling us this is the only production they come to because it's free and their entire family can come. From day one for CSC, access and education has been built into the DNA of the organization. We have sought out partnerships all over the city where we can go and work with young kids and talk about Shakespeare.
In high school, I had the opportunity to perform Shakespeare, but my full-fledged love for it didn't really come until Shakespeare on the Common. I was an apprentice in their program in 2010, and to pursue this opportunity in acting has really sort of guided me on the path of really pursuing this for the last 9 years and has established it as a priority for me in my career and my life.
We wanted Commonwealth Shakespeare to be a gift to the city of Boston, and every year it does feel like a
Reminder
gift to the
reads,
city of
to
Boston.
donate, text Tempest to 345-345. Now Steve speaks to the live audience on Thursday night.
Hi friends, thank you so much for joining us for this special online script-in-hand benefit performance of The Tempest. And sorry about that slight delay. Thanks for hanging in there with us. My name is Steve Mailer, and I'm the founding artistic director of Commonwealth Shakespeare Company and the director of this evening's performance. You know, when we first started talking about planning this 25th anniversary production of The Tempest a year ago, I can assure you this is not how we planned on sharing this production with you. So much has changed over the past 5 months. And, you know, in these very, very challenging times, this brilliantly talented company of artists gathered together to share this production with you live from 7 states across the country. And we're all so thrilled that you're here with us tonight. A recording of this evening's performance will be available through 7 p.m. on Monday evening. And we will add 2 additional versions to our website on Saturday evening, an ASL interpreted version and an audio described version, both of which will have closed captioning along with our original. All recordings can be accessed through our website, www.comshakes.org. In keeping with our long tradition of free Shakespeare, tonight's program is offered for free, but I ask if you're able to please consider making a gift to support this team's triumphant return to live performances next summer on the Boston Common. Tonight, we're trying to raise $10,000 to help us do so. And we have this little nifty thermometer, which you can see now, I hope, and it looks like we're already over $5,000. Now, here's a little secret. To help us reach this goal, a generous donor has offered to match all donations dollar for dollar up to $10,000. So we've actually already hit $10,000. So let's go further. Let's see how much we can raise tonight to support these artists and to bring live theater back to the Boston Common. We'll check in on this throughout the evening to see how we're doing. Thank you so much to everybody that's able to donate, and a special thanks to our generous sponsors for this evening. And now I'm thrilled to share with you some background information on the vision and inspiration our astonishingly fantastic design team has for this production, which when you come see it on the Boston Common next summer, you will see these designs realized live and in front of you on the Boston Common. So take it away, design
Images
team.
appear beside text. First, swelling waves. The Tempest scenic design process with Clint Ramos and Jeffrey Peterson. A photo of them. To conjure the world of the Tempest, we sourced inspiration from our own natural world. A shipwreck, weather-battered, skeletal, sandblasted, magical, playground. We glimpsed the remnants of a small boat. We imagined Prospero's ship in a state of arrested decay, unfurled upon a sandy beach. An early paper model shows boat hulls arranged like a pinwheel. A drawing shows the hulls looming over actors on a stage. A further 3D model allowed us to explore action. We then
So
turned
Dylan,
to
just
color
stand
and
by.
texture
You'll get the
studies
countdown from Jenna.
before submitting our technical drawings. The 3D model shows curves of yellow wood jutting up from the stage. Our dream was to channel Prospero with a sculpture dropped down on the common to lure passers-by into a magical CSC experience. Clint Ramos and Jeffrey Peterson. Now, video of costume designer Nancy Leary. She has purple hair and funky glasses.
I was really intrigued with some of the images of the.
She holds up a watercolor drawing.
Bright and bright greens and blues and things like that. And this is one of the ideas for Caliban, where I'm using that fishing net, but I'm also using elements of life that surrounds the island, like, or could, barnacles and shells and things like that. And in an effort to kind of create a little bit of age, that he's been here for a while, barnacles have started growing on his legs, that sort of thing. Also the ropes, which are part of the set, these red ropes, he's taken those to kind of sew this netting together to create a costume. Another idea that I had, which is very similar for Caliban, so we're still sort of working this out and letting it evolve to a certain extent. Again, we see the barnacles and shells. This is more of an organic sort of felted piece that looks like netting. It could be an old blanket that washed up, or et cetera, et cetera. Using it in the same way. He's just sort of put it on, he's tied it on in some way. He's very much of the island, and Ariel, who's a little bit more of the air, is similar in a lot of ways. They may, and I believe they may use the netting as well, or something similar to the netting. It could be a different color, texture, and again with this feathers that create this shoulder line and sort of cascade down the side of the costume. Again, we're still working these things out, but I really wanted them to have this sort of intense color, but also very organic.
Now Steve returns.
In nature.
No. And now, without further ado, the Tempest.
Over an image of dark water, words appear. A ship at sea in a tempest. The actors lurch and sway in their boxes.
Bosun!
Here, master, what cheer?
Good, speak to the mariners. Fall to it, Yarley, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir! Bestir!
Hey, my hearts! Cheerly, cheerly, my hearts! Yar! Yar! Take in the topsail! Tend to the master's whistle! Blow till thou burst thy wind, if room enough.
Alonso speaks.
Norman, have care! Where's the master? Play the men!
I pray now, keep below.
Antonio.
Where is the master, bosun?
Do you not hear him? You mar our labor. Keep your cabins, you do assist the storm.
Gonzalo.
May good, be patient.
When the sea is, hence. What cares these roarers for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not.
Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I love more than myself. You are a counselor. If you can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present, we will not hand a rope more. Use your authority. Cheerly, good hearts! Out of our way, I say.
I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he hath no drowning mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows. Stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable, for our own doth little advantage. For if he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable.
Down with the topmast! Yar! Lower! Lower! A plague upon this howling. They are louder than the weather or our office. Yet again, what do you hear? Shall we give o'er and drown? Have you a mind to sink?
Sebastian.
Apostle your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, and charitable dog!
Work you then!
Hang, you horse and insolent noisemaker! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art.
I'll warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell.
Lay her a hold! A hold! Set her 2 courses off to sea again! Lay her off!
All lost! To prayers! To prayers!
Lost!
What, must our mouths be cold?
The king and prince at prayers. Let's assist them, for our case is as theirs.
I am out of patience!
Merely cheated of our lives by drunkards. This wine-chopped rascal. Oh, would thou mightst lie drowning, the washing of 10 tides.
He'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it, and gape at wits to glut him.
Mercy on us!
We split!
Farewell, my wife and children!
We
Farewell,
split!
brother!
We split! We split!
Let's all sink with the king!
Let's take leave of him!
Now Gonzala alone.
Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground. Long heath, brown furs, anything. The wills above be done. But I would fain die a dry death.
A promontory overlooking the ocean. Miranda speaks.
If by your art, my dearest father, you have put the wild waters in this roar, allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. I have suffered with those that I saw suffer. A brave vessel, who had no doubt some noble creature in her dashed all to pieces. The cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished. Had I been any god of power, I would have sunk the sea within the earth, or ere it should the good ship so have swallowed, and the frauding souls within her.
Prospero.
Be collected. No more amazement. Tell your piteous heart there's no harm done.
Oh, woe the day!
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I am more better than Prospero, master of a full poor cell, and thy no greater father.
More to know did never meddle with my thoughts.
'Tis time I should inform thee, father. Lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from thee. So, lie thou there, my art. Wipe thine eyes, have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that there is no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair, be tid to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardst cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for thou must now know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped, and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding, stay, not yet.
The hour's now come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Oh, certainly, sir. I can.
By what? By any other house or person? Of anything the image tell me that hath kept with thy remembrance?
'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance that my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once that tended me?
Thou hadst. and more. Miranda, but how is it that this lives in thy mind? What seest thou else in the dark backward and abysm of time? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
Oh, 12 years since, Miranda. 12 years since. Thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Sir, are not you my father?
Thy mother was a piece of virtue, and she said thou wast my daughter. And thy father was Duke of Milan, and his only heir and princess no worse issued.
She gapes.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed was it we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, were we heaved thence, but blessedly hoped hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, farther.
My brother and thy uncle, called Antonio, I prithee mark me, that a brother should be so perfidious. He whom next thyself of all the world I loved, and to him put the manage of my state, as at the time through all the signories it was the first, and Prospero the prime duke being so reputed in dignity and for the liberal arts without a parallel. Those being all my study, the government I cast upon my brother, and to my state grew stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle, dost thou attend me?
Sir, most heedfully.
Being once perfected how to grant suits, how to deny them, who to advance, and who to trash for overtopping, new created the creatures that were mine, I say, or changed them, or else new formed them, having both the key of officer and office, set all hearts in the state to what tune pleased his ear. Thou attendst not.
Oh, good sir, I do.
I prithee, mark me. I thus neglecting worldly ends, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind, in my false brother awaked an evil nature. He being thus lorded not only with what my revenue yielded, but what my power might else exact, like one who, having into truth by telling of it, made such a sinner of his memory to credit his own lie. He did believe he was indeed the Duke. Hence, his ambition growing. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, sir, would cure deafness.
To have no screen between this part he played and him he played it for, he needs will be absolute Milan. Me, poor man, my library was dukedom large enough. Of temporal royalties, he thinks me now incapable. Confederate, so dry he was for sway with the king of Naples, to give him annual tribute, do him homage, subject his coronet to his crown, and bend the dukedom yet unbowed. Alas, poor Milan, to most ignoble stooping.
Oh, the heavens!
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
I should sin to think but nobly of my grandmother. Good wombs have borne bad sons.
Now the condition. This king of Naples, being an enemy to me, inveterate, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that he should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all the honors on my brother. Whereon a treacherous army levied one midnight, fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan. And in the dead of darkness, the ministers for the purpose hurried thence me and thy crying self.
Alack for pity. I not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it o'er again. Wherefore did they not that hour destroy us?
Well demanded, wench. My tale provokes that question. Dear, they durst not. So dear the love my people bore me, nor set a mark so bloody on the business, but with colors fairer painted their foul ends. In few, they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to sea, where they prepared a rotten carcass of a butt, not rigged, nor tackle, sail, nor mast. The very rats instinctively have quitted. There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds, whose pity sighing back again did us but loving wrong.
Alack, what trouble was I then to you?
Oh, a cherubin, thou wast that did preserve me. Oh, thou didst smile, infuse it with a fortitude from heaven, when I have decked the sea with drops full salt, under my burden groaned, which raised in me an undergoing stomach to bear up against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had and some fresh water, that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzala, out of her charity, who being then appointed master of this design, did give us with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which since have steaded much. So of her gentleness, knowing I loved my books, she furnished me from mine own library with volumes that I prized above my dukedom.
Would I might but ever see that friend.
Now I arise, sit still, and hear the last of our sea sorrow. Here in this island we arrived, and here have I, thy schoolmaster, made thee more profit than other princes can that have more time for vainer hours and tutors not so careful.
Heavens, thank you for it. And now I pray you, sir, for still 'tis beating in my mind, your reason for raising this sea storm.
Know thus far forth, by accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, hath mine enemies brought to this shore. And by my prescience, I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if now I court not, but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop.
He waves a hand.
Here, aha, cease. More questions. Thou art inclined to sleep.
Her eyelids grow heavy.
'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose.
She lowers her head and sleeps.
Come away. Servant, come. I am ready now. Approach. My Ariel, come.
As Miranda fades away, Ariel appears, sporting a mischievous smile.
All hail, great master, great sir, hail, I come to answer thy best pleasure, to be, to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all his quality.
Hast thou, spirit, performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. I boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, in the deck, in every cabin. I flamed amazement. Sometimes I divide and burn in many places. On the topmast, the yards, the bowsprit, would I flame distinctly. Then meet and join Jove's lightning, the precursors, all the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to besiege, make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident strike.
My brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul but felt a fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. All but mariners plunged into the foaming brine and quit the vessel, then afire with me. The king's son Ferdinand was the first man that leapt, cried, hell is empty and all the devils are here.
Why, that's my spirit. But are they, Ariel, safe?
Not a hair perished. On their sustaining garments, not a blemish, but fresher than before. And as thou badest me, in troops I have dispersed them about the isle. The king's son I have landed by himself, whom I left cooling in the air with sighs in an odd angle of the isle, and sitting his arms in this sad knot.
Of the king's ship, the mariners, say how thou disposed, and all the rest of the fleet.
Safely in harbor is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou calledst me up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed Bermuths. There she's hid. The mariners all under hatches stowed, who, with the charm joined to their suffered labor, I have left asleep.
Ariel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there's more work. What is the time of day?
It's just past noon.
At least 2 hours. The time twixt 6 and now must by us both be spent most preciously.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give me pains, let me remember thee, what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
How now, moody? What is't thou canst demand?
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
I prithee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakes, served without a grudge or grumbling. Thou didst promise to bake me a full year.
Dost thou forget from what a torment I did free thee?
No, I do not, sir.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who with age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
No, sir.
Thou hast. Where was she born? Speak, tell me.
Sir, in Algiers.
Oh, was she so? I must once in a month recount what thou hast been, which thou forgetst. This damned witch Sycorax, for mischiefs manifold and sorceries terrible, to enter human hearing, from Algiers, thou knowest, was banished. For one thing she did, they would not take her life. Is not this true?
Aye, sir.
This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and here was left by the sailors. Thou, my slave, as thou reportst thyself, was then her servant. And for thou wast a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, refusing her grand hest, she did confine thee into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain 12 years, within which space she died and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this island, save for the sun that she did litter here, a freckled whelp, hag-born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing, I say so. He, that Caliban, whom now I keep in service, thou best knowest what a torment I did find thee in. Thy groans did make wolves howl and penetrate the breast of ever-angry bears. It was a torment to lay upon the damned, which Sycorax could not undo again. And it was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee out.
I thank thee, master.
If thou more murmurest, I will rend an oak and peg thee in his knotty entrails till thou hast howled away 12 winters.
Pardon, master. I will be corresponding to command and do my spiriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
Ariel grins.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall I do?
Go, make thyself like a nymph of the sea. Be subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go, take this shape, and hither come in't. Go, hence, with diligence.
As Ariel bows and fades, Miranda rubs her groggy eyes.
Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well. Awake.
The strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come on. We'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does make our fire, fetch in our wood, and serves in offices that profit us. What ho, slave! Caliban! Thou art thou! Speak!
Off stage.
There's wood enough within!
Come forth, I say. There's other business for thee. Come, thou tortoise, when?
Ariel appears above.
Fine apparition. My quaint Ariel, hark in thine ear.
The sprite leans in close.
My lord, it shall be done.
He vanishes.
Thou poisonous slave, got by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth.
Ah! Ah!
Caliban rages into view.
As wicked do, as ere my mother brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both. A southwest blow on ye, and blister you all over.
For this, be sure tonight thou shalt have cramps,
Caliban cringes,
side stitches,
squirms,
that shall pen thy breath up.
and cowers.
Shall forth that shall pen thy breath up, shall forth at vast of night, that they may work all exercise on thee. Thou shalt be pinched as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than bees that made 'em.
He scowls fiercely.
I must eat my dinner. This island's mine! By Sycorax, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me, and made much of me, which give me water with berries in it, and teach me how to name the bigger light, and how the less that burned by day and night. And then I loved thee, and showed thee all the qualities of the isle, the fresh springs, brine pits, barren place, and fertile. Cursed be I that did so. All the charms of Sycorax, toads, beetles, bats, light on you. For I am all the subjects that you have, which first was mine own king. And here you stymie in this hard rock, while you do keep from me the rest of the island.
Thou most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee, filth as thou art, with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Oh! What had been done? Thou didst prevent me. I had peopled else this isle with Calibans.
Abhorred slave, which any print of goodness wilt not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, and thou didst not, savage, know thy own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with words that made them known. But thy vile race, though thou didst learn, had that in it which good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore wouldst thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison.
You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you for learning me your language.
Hagseed, hence, fetch us in fuel, and be quick. Thou art best to answer other business. Shrugg'st thou malice? If thou neglect'st or dost unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps. Fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar, that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No! I am pretty.
Caliban to himself.
I must obey. His art is of such power, it would control my dam's guard Setebos and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence.
As they fade, Ariel appears above Ferdinand.
Come unto these yellow sands, and then take hand.
With a furrowed brow, Ferdinand looks up, listening.
Curtsied when you have, and kissed the wild waves with. Footed featly here and there, and sweet sprites bear the burden. Hark, hark, the watchdogs bark.
The handsome young man peers,
Hark, hark,
as if through leaves,
hark, hark,
up at the sky.
hark, hark.
Where should this music be? In the air or the earth? It sounds no more, and sure it waits upon some god of the island. Sitting on a bank, weeping again the king, my father's wreck, this music crept upon me by the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I have followed it, or it hath drawn me rather, but 'tis gone. No, it begins again.
As the singing continues, Ferdinand's breath begins to quicken.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing more of him doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell. Hark, hark, now I hear it, ding dong bell.
This ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now above me.
The fringed curtains of thine eye advance, and say what thou seest yon.
What is it? A spirit! Lord, how it looks about. Believe me, sir, it carries a brave form, but 'tis a spirit.
No, wench. It eats and sleeps, and hath such senses as we have such. This gallant who thou seest was in the wreck, and but he's something stained with grief, that's beauty's canker, thou mightst call him a goodly person. He hath lost his fellows and strays about to find him.
I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
Prospero to us.
Goes on, I see, as my soul prompts it.
Most sure, the goddess on whom these airs attend, vouchsafe my prayer may know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear me here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is, oh, you wonder if you be maid or no.
No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid.
My language, heavens! I am the best of them that speaks this speech, were I but where 'tis spoken.
Thou, the best? What wert thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
A single thing, as I am now, that wonders me to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does, I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since at ebb beheld the king, my father, wrecked.
Alack for mercy.
At first sight, they have changed eye. A word, good sir, I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my father so ungently? This is the third man that e'er I saw, the first that e'er I sighed for. Pity, move my father to be inclined my way.
Oh, if a virgin, and your affection not gone forth, I'll make you the queen of Naples.
Sir, one word more. They are both in either's powers, but this swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One word more, I charge thee, thou attend me. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself upon this island as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on't.
No, as I am a man.
There is nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. If the ill spirits have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Follow me. Speak not for him. He's a traitor. Oh, come! I'll manacle thy neck and feet together. Seawater shalt thou drink. Thy food shall be the fresh brook mussels, withered roots, and husk wherein the acorn cradled. Follow!
No! I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Prospero
dear
charms
father,
him.
make not too rash a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
What? I say, my foot, my tutor? Put up thy sword, traitor, for I can here disarm thee with this stick, and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, father.
Hence, hang not on my garments.
Sir, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Silence! One word more shall make me chide thee, if not hate thee. What? An advocate for an impostor? Hush! Thou thinkst there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him and Caliban. Foolish wench! To the most of men this is a Caliban, and they to him are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. Thy nerves are in their infancy again, and have no vigor in them.
He comes too.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's lost the weakness which I feel the wreck of all my friends, and this man's threats to whom I am subdued are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid. All corners else of the earth let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on! Follow me!
Be of comfort? My father's of better nature, sir, than he appears by this speech. This is unwanted which now came from him.
Ariel, thou shalt be as free as mountain winds, but then exactly do all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come, follow.
To Miranda.
Speak not for him.
On another part of the island, Ariel observes the survivors.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, so have we all, of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. Our hint of woe is common. Every day some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant have just our theme of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrows with our comfort.
Prithee, peace.
Sebastian to Antonio.
He receives comfort like cold porridge. Look, she's winding up the watch of her wit. By and by, it will strike.
Sir.
One, tell.
When every grief is entertained that's offered, comes to the entertainer.
$1.
Dolour comes to him indeed. You have spoken truer than you purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord.
I prithee, spare.
Well, I have done. But yet...
She will be talking.
Adrian.
Though this island seemed to be desert, uninhabitable and almost inaccessible.
Yet
it must needs be of subtle, tender, and delicate temperance.
Here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first in Afrique, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to the queen.
Not since widow Dido's time. Sir, we were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen.
And the rarest that ever came there?
Is not, sir, my doublet as fresh as the first day I wore it, when I wore it at your daughter's marriage?
You cram these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sense. Would I had never married my daughter there, for coming thence my son is lost, and in my rage she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I ne'er again shall see her. O thou mine heir of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee?
Francisco.
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. I not doubt he came alive to land.
No, he's gone.
Sir, you may thank yourself for this great loss, that would not bless our Europe with your daughter. She is banished from your eye, who hath cause to whet the grief on't.
Prithee, peace.
You were kneeled to and importuned otherwise by all of us, and the fair soul herself. We have lost your son, I fear, forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of the business making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
So is the dearest of the loss.
My lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack some gentleness and time to speak it in.
Very well.
It is foul weather in us all, good sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather?
Very foul.
Had I plantation of this isle, my lord, and were the queen on't, what would I do?
Escape being drunk for want of wine?
In the Commonwealth, I would by contraries execute all things, for no kind of traffic would I admit, no name of magistrate, letters should not be known, riches, poverty, and use of service none, contract, succession, born, bound of land, tilth, vineyard, none, no use of metal, corn, or wine, or oil, no occupation, all men idle, all, and women too, but innocent and pure, no sovereignty.
Yet she would be queen on't.
The latter end of her commonwealth forgets the beginning.
All things in common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor, treason, felony, sword, pike, knife, gun, or need of any engine would I not have. But nature should bring forth of its own kind all foison, all abundance, to feed my innocent people.
No marrying among her subjects?
Man, all idle, whores and knaves.
I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
Save her majesty.
Long live Gonzala.
And do you mark me, sir?
Thee no more. Thou dost talk nothing to me.
I do well believe, your highness, and did it to minister occasion to these gentlemen, who are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they always use to laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you. So you may continue, and laugh at nothing still.
Ariel hovers.
Good my friend, be not angry.
No, I warrant you, I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. Will you laugh me asleep? For I am very heavy.
Go sleep and hear us.
What? All so soon asleep? I wish mine eyes would with themselves shut up my thoughts. I find they are inclined to do so.
Please you, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It seldom visits sorrow. When it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person while you take your rest and watch your safety.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
Alonso sleeps.
Strange drowsiness possesses them.
It is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirit's revenge. It's strange, worthy Sebastian. Oh, what might, oh, what might. No more. And yet, methinks I see it in thy face, what thou dost want.
Sebastian stares, dumbfounded.
I see a crown falling upon your head.
What? Art thou waking?
You not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakst out of thy sleep. What is't thou didst say?
Oh, if you but knew how you the purpose cherish, while thus you mock it, how in stripping it you more invest it. Thus, sir, although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of as little memory when he is earth, hath here almost persuaded the king his son's alive, 'tis as impossible that he's undrowned as he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
If that no hope, what great hope have you? Will you grant with me that Ferdinand is drowned?
Oh, he's gone.
Then tell me, who is the next heir of Naples?
Claribel?
She that is queen of Tunis. She that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life. She that from whom we all were sea swallowed, though some cast again, and by that destiny to perform an act, whereof what's past is prologue, what to come in yours and my discharge.
What stuff is this? How say you? 'Tis true, my brother's daughter's queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples, twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, how shall that Claribel measure us back to Naples? Keep in Tunis, and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now hath seized them, but they were no worse than now they are. There be that can rule Naples as well as he that sleeps. Oh, that you bore the mind that I do. Let us sleep with this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. And look how well my garments sit upon me, much fitter than before. My brother's servants were then my fellows. Now they are my men.
But for your conscience.
Sir, where lies that? I feel not this deity in my bosom. But here lies your brother, no better than the earth he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead, whom I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it can lay to bed forever. Whilst you, doing thus, to the perpetual wink for I might put this ancient morsel. For all the rest, he'll take suggestion as the cat laps milk.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent, as thou gotst Milan. I'll come by Naples. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
All together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like to fall it on Gonzala.
As they mime raising their swords.
Oh, but one word.
Ariel appears.
My master, through his art, foresees the danger that you, his friend, are in, and sends me forth, for else his project dies to keep them living. While you here do snoring lie, open-eyed conspiracy its time doth wait. If of life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake.
Then let us all be sudden.
They raise their swords again.
Nay, good angels, preserve the king!
Why, how now, Sue? Awake! Why are you gone? Wherefore that ghastly looking?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we've heard a hollow burst of bellowing, like bulls, or rather lions. Didst not wake you?
'Twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Sure, it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard a humming, and that a strange one too, which did awake me. I shaped you, sir, and cried. As mine eyes opened, I saw their weapons drawn. There was a noise, that's verily. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place. Let's draw our weapons.
Lead off this ground, and let's make further search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts, for he is sure in the island.
Lead away.
Prospero, my lord, shall know what I have done. So, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
Elsewhere on the island, Caliban struggles with a large basket of sticks.
Oh, the infections that the sun sucks up from bogs, fens, flats, on Prosper fall, and make him by inchmeal a disease.
He puts down the basket.
His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But they'll nor pinch, fright me with urchin shows, pitch me in the mire, nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way, unless he bid him. But for every trifle are they set upon me, sometimes like apes that mow and chatter at me, and after bites me, then like hedgehogs which lie tumbling in my barefoot way and mount their pricks at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders, who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness.
Trinculo enters.
Lo, now lo! Here comes the spirit of his, and to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance he will not mind me.
While Caliban hides under a towel, Trinculo huddles under a cocktail umbrella.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. And another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder, as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls.
He spots the lump under the towel.
What have we here? A man? Or a fish? Dead or alive? A fish. He smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of not of the newest Poor John. A strange fish. Were I in England now, as once I was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there, but would give a piece of silver, there would this monster make a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. Legged like a man, and his fins like arms.
He pokes, and Caliban starts.
Warm, oh my troth. I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt.
His image shakes as if by an earthquake.
Here it comes again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine.
He ducks under a towel as well.
There is no other shelter thereabout. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud till the dregs of the storm be past.
Stefano appears, taking a long swig from a bottle. With half-closed eyes and ruddy cheeks, he sways in place. He sings drunkenly to himself, silently at first.
Bum, 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 I shall no more to see, to see.
He drinks.
Here I shall die ashore. Well, this is a very scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort.
He guzzles some more.
The master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I, the gunner and his maid, loved all men, married and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate, for she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, go hang. She loved not the savor of tar nor of pitch, but a sailor might scratch her where'er she did itch. Set a sea, boys, and let her go hang. That's a scurvy tune, too. Well, here's my comfort.
Caliban stirs.
Do not torment me! Ah!
What's the matter? Have we devils here? You put tricks upon us with savages and men of Indy? Ah? I have not scared drowning to be afeard now of your forelegs. For it hath been said, as proper a man as ever went on 4 legs can I make him give ground. And it shall be said so again while Stefano breathes at nostrils.
The spirit torments me! Ah!
This is some monster of the isle, who hath, as I take it, an ague. Where the devil should he learn our language? I will give him some relief, if it be but for that. If I can recover him and keep him tame and get back to Naples with him, he's a present for any emperor that ever trod on neat's leather.
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in a fit now. Does not talk after the wisest. Oh, he shall taste of my bottle. If he have never drunk wine afore, it will go near to remove his fit. If I can recover him, keep him tame. If he have never drunk wine afore, it will go near to remove his fit. Come on, cat. Open your mouth. Come on your ways. This will shake your shaking, I can tell you, and that soundly.
As Stefano tips his bottle, Caliban leans in and opens wide.
Oh, you can never tell who's your friend. Open your chaps again.
He pours in more wine, and Caliban licks his lips. Trinculo peeks out from under his towel.
I should know this voice. It should be... he is drowned. And these are devils! Oh, defend me!
He ducks back under his towel.
4 legs and 2 voices, a most delicate monster. His forward voice now is to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. If all the wine in my bottle will recover him, I will help his ague. Come. Oh, amen. I'll pour some in thy other mouth.
Stefano?
Oh, doth thy other mouth call me? Mercy, mercy. This is a devil and no monster. I will leave him. I have no long spoon.
Stefano, if thou beest Stefano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, thy good friend, Trinculo.
Thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by thy lesser legs. Oh, if any be Trinculo's legs, these are they.
Trinculo emerges.
Ah, thou art very Trinculo indeed. How camest thou to be the siege of this mooncalf? Can he vent Trinculos?
I took him to be killed with a thunderstroke. But art thou not drowned, Stefano? I hope now thou art not drowned. Is the storm overblown? I hid me under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm. And art thou living, Stefano? Oh, Stefano, 2 Neapolitans escaped.
Oh, I prithee, do not turn me about so. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, and if they be not sprites, That's a brave god and bears celestial liquor. I will kneel to him.
How didst thou escape? How camest thou hither? Swear by this bottle how thou camest hither. I escaped upon a butt of sap which the sailors heaved overboard.
I'll swear upon that bottle to be thy true subject, for the liquor is not earthly.
Here, swear then how thou escapest.
Swum ashore, man, like a duck. I can swim like a duck, I'll be sworn.
Here, kiss the book. Oh. Thou canst swim like a duck. Thou art made like a goose.
Ooh, Stefano, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. My cellar is in a rock by the seaside, where my wine is hid. Oh, how now, mooncalf? How does thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon, I do assure thee. I was the man on the moon one time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee. My mistress showed me thee, and thy dog, and thy bush.
Oh, come swear to that. Kiss the book. Now, I will furnish it anon with new contents. Come, swear.
Caliban drinks from his own bottle.
By this good light, this is a very shallow monster. I afeard of him? Oh, a very weak monster. The man in the moon, a most poor, credulous monster. Well drawn monster, in good sooth.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of the island, and I will kiss thy foot. I prithee be my god.
By this light, a most perfidious and drunken monster. When God's asleep, he'll rob his bottle.
Stefano holds up a foot, sole first and up close.
I'll kiss thy foot. I'll swear myself thy subject.
Come then, down and swear.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. Oh, most scurvy monster. Oh, I could find in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss.
Caliban puckers up.
Oh, but the poor monster's in drink, an abominable monster.
I'll show thee the best springs. I'll pluck thee berries. I'll fish for thee and get thee wood enough. A plague upon the tyrant that I serve. I'll bear him no more sticks, but follow thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster to make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I prithee, let me bring thee where crabs grow, and I, with my long nails, will dig thee pig nuts, show thee a jay's nest, and instruct thee how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll bring thee to clustering filberts, and sometimes I'll get thee young scammels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
I prithee now, lead the way, without any more talking. Trinculo, the king and all our company are being drowned. We shall inherit here. Here, bear my bottle. Fellow Trinculo, we will fill him by and by again.
Farewell, master. Farewell, farewell.
Oh, a howling monster, a drunken monster.
No more dams I'll make for fish, nor fetch in firing yet requiring, nor scrape trenching, nor wash dish. Ban, Caliban has a new master, get a new man. Freedom, high day, freedom, high day, freedom!
Oh, brave master! Lead the way!
Now near Prospero's cavern.
There be some sports are painful, and their labor delight in them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone, and most poor matters point to rich ends.
Holds a stick.
This, my mean task, would be as heavy to me as odious, but the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead, and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her father's crabbed, and he's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs and pile them up upon a sore injunction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work and says, such baseness had never like executor. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors most busiliest when I do it.
Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up those logs that you were enjoined to pile. Pray, set it down and rest you. When this burns, 'twill weep for having wearied you. My father is hard at study. Pray now, rest yourself. He's safe for these 3 hours.
Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do.
If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs the while. Pray, give me that.
She hoists a log.
Ugh, I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature. I'd rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy guy.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease. For my goodwill is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected. This visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. My father, I have broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongues hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several virtues have I liked several women, never any with so full soul, but some defect in her did quarrel with the noblest grace she owed and put it to the foil. But you, oh, you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I do not know one of my sex. No woman's face remember, save from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more than I may call men than you, good friend. And my dear father, how features are abroad, I am skilless of. But by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it. And for your sake am I this patient logman.
Do you love me?
Oh, heaven. Oh, earth, bear witness to this sound, and crown what I profess with kind event if I speak true. If hollowly, invert what best is boded me to mischief. I, beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I'm a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections. Heavens rain grace on that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
At my unworthiness, for that I dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, and prompt me, plain and holy innocence. I am your wife, if you will marry me. If not, I'll buy your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant, whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
Aye, with a heart as willing as bondage heir of freedom. Here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000,000.
They fade away.
So glad of this as they I cannot be, who are surprised with all, but my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Now, on another part of the island.
Tell not me. When the bud is out, we will drink water, and not a drop before. Therefore, bear up and boredom. Servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster, the folly of this island. They say there's but 5 upon this isle. We are 3 of them. If the other 2 be brained like us, the state totters.
Drink, servant monster, when I bid thee. Thine eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? You were a brave monster indeed if they were set in his tail.
He points to
My
his
man
butt.
monster had drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore 35 leagues. Off and on, by this light. Thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster. Or my standard.
You're a lieutenant if you list. He's no standard.
Will not run, Monsieur Monster.
Nor go neither, but you'll lie like dogs and yet say nothing neither.
Mooncalf, speak for once in thy life, if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How does thy honor? Let me lick thy shoe. I'll not serve him. He is not valiant.
Stefano lifts a foot. Caliban licks the camera.
Most ignorant monster. Oh, I am in a case to jostle a constable. Why, thou debauched fish, thou, was there ever man, a coward, that hath drunk so much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half a fish and half a monster?
No! How he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Lord, quoth he, that a monster should be such a natural.
No! Again! Bite him to death, I prithee.
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your head. If you prove a mutineer, the next tree.
He mimes a noose.
The monster's my subject, and he shall not suffer indignity.
I thank my noble lord. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suits I made to thee?
Oh, marry will I kneel and repeat it. I will stand, and so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Ariel speaks through Trincula.
Thou liest! Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, if you trouble him any more in his tail, by this hand, I'll supplant some of your teeth.
Why, I said nothing.
None then, and no more. Proceed.
I say, By sorcery, he got this isle. From me, he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
Thou shalt be lord of it, and I'll serve thee.
How shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord, I'll yield him thee asleep, where thou mayst knock a nail into his head.
Again, Ariel.
Thou liest. Thou canst not.
What a piglin is this, thou scurvy patch? I do beseech thy greatness, give him blows, and take his bottle from him. When that's gone, he shall drink naught but brine, for I'll not show him where the quick freshes are.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Interrupt the monster one word further, and by this hand, I'll turn thee out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Oh, why? What did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Do I so? Will you take thou that? And you like this? Give me the lie another time.
I did not give the lie.
Oh.
Out of your wits and hearing too. Pox on your bubble. This can sack and drinking do. A murrain on your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Now forward with your tale. Prithee, stand further off.
Beat him enough. After a little time, I'll beat him too.
Get further. All right, come, proceed.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom with him in the afternoon to sleep. There thou mayst brain him, having first seized his books, or with a log batter his skull, or punch him with a stake, or cut his wizen with thy knife. Remember first to possess his books, for without them he's but a sot, as am I. Nor hath not one spirits to command. They all do hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books. And that most deeply to consider is the beauty of his daughter. He himself calls her a nonpareil. I never saw a woman, but only Sycorax, my dam, and she as far surpasseth Sycorax, as greatest does least.
Is it so brave a lass?
Aye, Lord. She will become thy bed, I warrant, and bring thee forth brave brood.
Master, I will kill this man. His daughter and I shall be king and queen. Save our graces. And you and Trinculo shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo?
Excellent.
Oh, give me your hand. I'm sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in your head.
Within this half hour will he be asleep. Wilt thou destroy him then?
Aye, on my honor.
This will I tell my master.
Thou makest me merry! I am full of pleasure. Let us be jocund. Will you troll the catch you taught me but while ere?
At thy request, monster, I will do reason. Any reason. Come on, Trinculo! Let us sing.
Ariel plays a
Flout
guitar.
him and scout him and scout him and flout him. Thought is free.
That's not the tune.
What is this, Sam?
This is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody.
Well, if thou beest a man, show thyself in thy likeness. If thou beest a devil, take it as thou list.
Oh, forgive me my sins.
He that dies pays all debts. I defy thee. Mercy upon us.
Art thou afeard?
No, monster, not I.
Be not afeard. The isle is full of noises, sounds, and sweet airs that give delight, and hurt thee not. Sometimes 1,000 twangling instruments will hum about mine ears, and sometimes voices that if I then had waked after long sleep will make me sleep again. And then, in dreaming, the clouds, methought, would open and show riches ready to drop upon me, that when I waked, I cried to dream again.
This will prove a brave kingdom to me, where I shall have my music, but nothing.
When Prospero is destroyed.
By and by, I remember the story.
Still strumming, Ariel walks off screen.
Oh, the sound is going away. Let's follow it and after do our work.
Come, monster, follow. I would I could see this taborer. He lays it on.
Stefano goes.
Will come. I'll follow Stefano.
Trinculo goes.
Ban, Cali, ban. Has a new master, get a new man. Freedom, high day, freedom, high day, freedom!
As Caliban fades, the image of open water returns with text. 5-minute intermission. Intermission speakers begin at 1 hour and 30 minutes into this recording.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joan Moyna. I'm co-founder of the Commonwealth Shakespeare Company. We really miss seeing you on Boston Common this summer, but we hope wherever you are, you're enjoying this online performance of The Tempest. During this break, we hope you'll get up and take a seventh inning stretch. We also hope you'll consider making a gift in support of CSC. COVID-19 has taken a tremendous toll on the performing arts community in Boston and all over the world. We long to come back together again for live performance. When this crisis struck, we made a decision to pay the artists and artisans of the Company of the Tempest, regardless of whether we performed. We're so honored to have been able to stand by that commitment, and it's such a thrill to see them exploring this beautiful play, Shakespeare's last play and one of his most contemplative. So please consider making a gift in support of our programs. And I'm happy to announce that every gift you make between now and August 10th will be doubled up to $10,000. That means your gifts will go a long way to support the work of Commonwealth Shakespeare Company. We've made it very easy to give. Just text Tempest to 345-345 or go to the Commonwealth Shakespeare website where you can make a gift online. What a joy it will be to welcome you back to Boston Common next summer. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of this play, and we so look forward to seeing you again so soon. In the meantime, to quote another Shakespeare play, Twelfth Night, thanks, thanks, and ever thanks.
Text reads, "Please consider a gift to support free Shakespeare on the Common. There is a suggested donation for this performance of $20, which will help CommShakes mount a full production of The Tempest on Boston Common next summer. You can donate at commshakes.org/donate or text the word Tempest to 345-345.
Hi, everyone. Steve again. I hope you've been enjoying this first half of The Tempest. Just so you know, part 2 is about 40 minutes. I want to say a special thank you to all of those who've been able to make a donation so far. Let's check in and see how we're doing. I think we've raised over $7,000 so far. So thank you so much to everyone who's been able to make a contribution. We're so grateful for your support. Just remember that between now and August 10th, all donations are being matched dollar for dollar up to $10,000. And so we're so grateful for your support and hope to help you. You'll help us continue fundraising to bring Shakespeare back to the Boston Common. Thanks so much. Enjoy part 2.
Text reads, "Intermission. The performance will resume shortly." The reading continues at 1 hour and 35 minutes into this recording.
By our Lakin, I can go no further, sir. My old bones aches. By your patience, I needs must rest me.
Old friend, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest. Even here I will put off my hope and keep it no longer for my flatterer. He is drowned, whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go.
Right glad that he's so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forgo the purpose that you resolve to effect.
Next advantage will we take throughly.
Let it be tonight, for now they are oppressed with travail. They will not nor cannot use such vigilance as when they were fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
Prospero appears.
What harmony is this? My good friends, hark!
Marvelous sweet music.
Enter spirits, bringing a
Give
banquet.
us kind keepers, heavens. What were these?
A living drollery. Now I will believe that there are unicorns.
What does else want credit come to me, and I'll be sworn 'tis true.
If in Naples I should report this now, would they believe me? If I should say I saw such islanders who, though they are of monstrous shape, yet note their manners are more gentle, kind, than of our human generation you shall find many, nay, almost any.
Honest friend, thou hast said well. For some of you there present are worse than devils.
I cannot too much muse such shape, such gesture, and such sound, expressing, although they want the use of tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse.
Praise in departing.
They vanish strangely.
No matter, since they have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Will't please you taste of what is here?
I will stand to and feed, although my last, no matter, since I feel the best is past. Brother, my lord the Duke, stand to and do as we.
Ariel appears like a harpy.
You are three men of sin, whom destiny that hath to instrument this slower world and what is in it. The never surfeited sea hath caused to belch you up, and on this island, where man doth not inhabit, you amongst men, being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even with such like valor men hang down and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with be mocked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dowel that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wraths do guard you, from which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads is nothing but heart sorrow and a clear life ensuing.
Ariel vanishes.
My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions. They are now in my power, and in these fits I'll leave them while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they suppose is drowned, and his and mine loved darling.
In the name of something holy, sir, why stand you in this strange stare?
Oh, it is monstrous, monstrous. Methought the billows spoke and told me of it. The winds did sing it to me, and the thunder that deep and dreadful organ pipe pronounced the name of Prosper. It did base my trespass. Therefore, my son i' the ooze is bedded, and I'll seek him deeper than e'er plummet sounded, and with him there lie mudded.
But one fiend at a time, how fight their legions are!
I'll be thy second.
All three of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now gins to bite the spirits. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.
Follow, I pray you.
Now before Prospero's cavern, Miranda, Prospero, and Ferdinand.
If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have given you here a third of mine own life, or that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here afore heaven, I ratify this my rich gift. O Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast of her, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it against an oracle.
Then as my gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. But if thou dost break her virgin knot before all sanctimonious ceremonies may with fully and holy rite be ministered, no sweet aspersion shall the heavens let fall to make this contract grow, but barren hate, sour-eyed disdain, and discord shall bestrew the union of your bed with weeds so loathly that you shall hate it both. Therefore take heed, as Hymen's lamps shall light you.
As I hope for quiet days, fair issue, and long life with such love as 'tis now, the murkiest den, the most opportune place, the strongest suggestion our worser genius can, shall never melt mine honor into lust to take away the edge of that day's celebration.
Fairly spoke. Sit then and talk with her. She is thine own. What? Ariel, my industrious servant, Ariel?
What would my potent master? Here I am.
Go, bring the spirits o'er whom I give thee power here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art.
Presently.
Aye, with a twink.
Before you can say come and go and breathe twice and cry so, each one tripping on his toe will be here with mop and mow. Do you love me, master? No.
Dearly, my delicate Ariel, do not approach till thou hast heard me call.
Well, I conceive.
Look thou be true, do not give dalliance too much the rein. The strongest oaths are straw to the fire and the blood.
I warrant you, sir.
Well, now come, my Ariel, appear and pertly. No tongue, all eyes, be silent.
Goddesses descend to bless the wedding.
Ceres, most bounteous lady, thy rich lees of wheat, rye, barley, vetches, oats, and peas, thy turfy mountains where live nibbling sheep, and flat meads thatched with stove o'er them to keep, and thy sea marge, sterile and rocky hard, where thou thyself dost err, the queen of the sky, whose watery arch and messenger am I, bids thee leave these, and with her sovereign grace, here on this grass plot in this fairy place, to come and sport her peacocks fly amain, approach rich Ceres, her to entertain.
Hail, many-colored messenger, who with thy saffron wings upon my flower diffusest honey drops, refreshing showers. Why hath thy queen summoned me hither to this short grassed green?
A contract of true love to celebrate, and some donation freely to a state on the blessed lovers.
Highest queen of state, great Juno comes, I know her by her gait.
How does my bounteous sister? Go with me to bless this twain, that they may prosperous be and honored in their issue. Honor, riches, marriage blessing, long continuance and increasing. Hourly joys be still upon you. Juno sings her blessings on you.
Earth's increase, foison plenty, barns and garners never empty, vines with clustering bunches growing, plants with goodly burden bowing, spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest, scarcity and want shall shun you, Ceres' blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision, and harmonious charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits, which by mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancies.
Let me live here ever. So rare and wondered father and a wise makes this place paradise.
I had forgot that foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done. Avoid no more.
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never till this day saw I him touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit, shall dissolve, and, like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep. Sir, I am vexed. Bear with my weakness. My old brain is troubled. Be not disturbed with my infirmity. If you be pleased, retire into my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish your
peace.
The lovers go.
Come with a thought. I thank thee, Ariel, come.
Thy thoughts I cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet with Caliban. Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, sir. They were red hot with drinking, so full of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing their feet, yet always bending towards their project. Then I beat my tabor at which, like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears, advanced their eyelids, lifted up their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that calf-like they my lowing followed, through toothed briars, sharp furzes, prickling gorse, and thorns, in which entered their frail shins. At last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to the chins that the foul lake o'erstunk their feet.
This was well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither for stale to catch these thieves.
I go.
The devil, a born devil on whose nature nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so his mind cankers. I will plague them all, even to roaring.
Ariel holds up random items of clothing.
Come, hang them on this line.
The clowns appear.
Oh, fly, that stinks.
Pray you, tread softly, that the blind mole may not hear a footfall. We now are near his cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say is a harmless fairy, has done little but play the jack with us.
Monster, I do smell all horse piss, at which my nose is in great indignation.
So is mine. Do you hear, monster? If I should take displeasure with you, look you!
Thou wert but a lost monster.
Good my lord, give me thy favor still. Be patient, for the prize I'll bring thee to shall hoodwink this mischance. Therefore, speak softly, all's hushed as midnight yet.
Trinculo holds a finger to his lips.
Aye, but to lose our bottles in the pool. Oh.
Not only disgrace and dishonor of that monster, but an infinite loss.
That's more to me than my wedding. Yet this is your harmless fairy, monster.
I will fetch off my bottle, though I be o'er ears for my labor.
Prithee, my king, be quiet. Seest thou here? This is the mouth of the cell. No noise, and enter. Do that good mischief which may make this island thine own forever, and I thy Caliban, for I thy footlicker.
Ow! Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, King Stefano! Oh, peer! Oh, worthy Stefano!
They drape themselves.
Look what a wardrobe here is for thee!
Let it alone, thou fool! It is but trash.
Oh, monster, we know what belongs to a frippery. Oh, King Stefano!
Put off that gown, Trinculo. By this hand, I'll have that gown.
Thy grace shall have it.
The dropsy drown this fool! What do you mean to dote thus on such luggage? Let it alone and do the murder first. If he awake, from toe to crown, he'll fill our skins with pinches, make us strange stuff.
Oh, be you quiet, monster. Here's a garment for thee, Trinculo, which shall not go unrewarded while I am king of this country.
We shall lose our time, and all be turned to barnacles, or to apes with foreheads villainous low.
Oh, it's low. Monster, lay to your fingers. Help to bear this away where my hogshead of wine is, or I'll turn you out of my kingdom. Go to, carry this.
And this.
Yes, and this.
Ariel barks. The clowns go.
Hey! Mountain, hey!
Silver! There! Go, Silver!
Fury! Fury, there! Tyrant, there! Hark! Hark!
Ow!
Go charge my goblins if they grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten up their sinews with aged cramps, and more pinch-spotted make them than pard or catamountain.
Hark! They roar!
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour lies at my mercy all mine enemies. Shortly shall all my labors end, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. For a little follow and do me service.
A short time later.
Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How's the day?
On the 6th hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease.
I did say so when first I raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and's followers?
Confined together just as you left them, all prisoners, sir. They cannot budge till your release. The king, his brother, and yours abide, all three distracted, brimful of sorrow and dismay, but chiefly her that you term, sir, the good Gonzala. Her tears run down her cheeks like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly worksome that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir, were I human.
And mine shall. Hast thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their afflictions? And shall not myself, one of their kind, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason, 'gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. Go, release them, Ariel. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them, sir.
He goes.
Ye elves of hills, brooks, standing lakes and groves, and ye that on the sands with printless foot do chase the ebbing Neptune and do fly him when he comes back. You demi-puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew, by whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azur'd vault set roaring war. To the dread rattling thunder have I given fire, and rifted Jove's stout oak with his own bolt. The strong base promontory have I made shake, and by the spurs plucked up the pine and cedar. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, oped, and let them forth by my so potent art.
He takes a deep breath and swallows.
But this rough magic I here abjure. And when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end upon their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet's sound. I'll drown my book.
Ariel and the Italians appear.
There stand, for you are spell stopped. Holy Gonzala, honorable friend, mine eyes, e'en sociable to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. My true preserver, I will pay thy graces home, both in word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pinched for it now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood. You, brother mine, that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature, whom with Sebastian would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Ariel, fetch me the hat and rapier in my cell. I will discase me and myself present as I was sometime Millen. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Ariel picks up his guitar.
Where the beast sucks, there suck I. In a cowslip's bell I lie. There I couch when owls do fly. On the bat's back I do fly. After the summer, merrily, merrily, will I live now, merrily, merrily, under the blossom, merrily, merrily, that hangs upon the bough.
Why, that's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee. But yet thou shalt have freedom. So. To the kingship, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep. The master and the boatswain being awake, enforce them to this place. And presently, I prithee.
I drink the air before me and return, O air, your pulse beat twice.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wrong Duke of Millen, Prospero. To thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me as late I have been, I not know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood, and since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends, with which I fear a madness held me. Thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here?
To Gonzala.
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
Yet you do taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, my friends all. For you, Antonio, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them, and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know thou must restore.
If thou beest Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, whom 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore, where I have lost my dear son, Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir.
Irreparable is the loss, and Patience says it is past her cure.
I rather think you have not sought her help, or whose soft grace. For the like loss, I have her sovereign aid, and rest myself content.
You, the like loss?
As great to me as late, for I have lost my daughter.
A daughter? Oh, heavens! That they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. Know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very duke which was thrust from Milan, who most strangely upon this shore where you were wrecked was landed to be the lord on't. No more yet of this. Welcome, sir. This cell's my court. Pray you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing.
The lovers appear.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
For a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose.
A most high miracle.
Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Now, all the blessings of a glad father compass thee about.
Oh, wonder! How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid with whom thou wast at play? Is she the goddess that hath severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence she's mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom I have received a second life, and second father. This lady makes him to me.
I am hers. But oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child forgiveness.
There, sir, stop. Let us not burden our remembrances with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, or should have spoke ere this. Look down, you gods, and on this couple drop a blessed crown.
I say amen, Gonzalo.
Was Milan thrust from Milan that his issue should become kings of Naples? Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy, and set it down with gold on lasting pillars. In one voyage did Claribel her husband find at Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother found a wife where he himself was lost. Prospero his dukedom in a poor isle, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own.
Give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that doth not wish you joy.
Be it so, Hanach.
The boatswain appears.
Oh, look you, sir, look, sir. Here is more of us. I prophesied if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. Hast thou no mouth by land? What is the news?
The best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, our ship, which but 3 glasses since we gave out split, is tight and yar and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea.
Sir, all this service have I done since I went.
My tricksy spirit.
These are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence. Thou shalt be free.
This is as strange a maze as e'er men trod, and there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you. Till then, be cheerful, and think of each thing well. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free, untie the spell.
Ariel goes.
How fares my gracious sir? There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads that you remember not.
Let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio.
Oh, if these be true spies, which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight.
Oh, Setibos, these be brave spirits indeed. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me.
What things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy 'em?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish, and no doubt marketable.
This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. These three have robbed me, and this demi-devil, for he's a bastard one, had plotted with them to take my life. Two of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine.
I shall be pinched to death.
Is not this Stefano, my drunken butler?
He's drunk now. Where had he wine?
And Trinculo is reeling ripe. Where should they find this grand liquor that hath gilded him? How camest thou in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last, that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano, but a cramp.
You'd be king of the isle, Sirrah?
I should have been a sore one then.
This is as strange a thing as e'er I looked on.
He is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape. Go, Sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions. As you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will. And I'll be wise hereafter, and seek for grace. Oh, what a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god, and worship this dull fool.
Go to, away.
Hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it.
Or stole it, rather.
Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night, and in the morn I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized, and thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely.
I'll deliver all, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sail so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. My Ariel, chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare thou well. Please you, draw near.
The others fade away. Ariel and Prospero face each other. Then Ariel is gone. Prospero takes off his glasses.
Now my charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint. Now 'tis true, I must be here confined by you or sent to Naples. Let me not, since I have my dukedom got and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island by your spell, but release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and mine ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.
Fade to black. Zoom boxes for all the actors fill the screen. They smile and wave. Once again, this is Cori. Thanks for joining me for this audio-described version of The Tempest.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. And I'd just like to give a special thank you to these amazing artists and actors and designers and stage managers and technicians who made this incredibly impossible evening look so effortless. Before we sign off, let's just check in and see how we're doing on fundraising. We had an extraordinary night. Thank you so much to everybody's generosity. We well surpassed our goal of $10,000. We are so deeply humbled by your support. It means a lot to us, and we're really deeply grateful. Since donations will continue to be matched through Monday, we ask you to please share this experience with your friends. It's going to be up on YouTube for through Monday, and we hope a lot of people will see it. We're so proud of it. I'm so proud of it, and you know, it's really special for all of us to be able to be in your home tonight. We love having you in our home on the Boston Common, and we're going to do that real soon. But we're so grateful to you for opening your doors to us tonight and sharing this play. We miss you all so much, and we can't wait to see you on the Boston Common real soon. All right, lots of love. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great night.